Hey guys, it's Sippin from Beastcoast. I'm going to be giving you guys a Capitao guide on Clubhouse. Alright, Capitao has two primary guns. He has the Para 308 and the M249. Personally, I use the Para. He has also a Claymore and a hard breach tool, and he uses this sidearm. What I definitely do prefer is I think the hard breach tool is very effective. If, let's say, your primary breacher dies, you always have a second option. Capitao is a very flex support type of operator, so he's very versatile. He has 2 flame bolts, 2 smokes. Gun here does 48 damage. They both do the same damage and same fire rate, but his M249 has more ammo, but I feel like the ADS is pretty slow, so I just prefer using the Para because you have angled grip and you have a 1.5 times, so pretty good kit. Alright, so when you start off as Capitao, you'll either be spawning warehouse or the main gate. Usually I spawn warehouse, and the first thing I'll do is shoot the default cam. And depending on what your team wants to do, if your team wants to do a garage take, you will most likely want to have a breaching tool, and you want to make a hole right around here to make the garage angle for the window. So now you have the G1 wall, as we call it, open for the angle onto the garage window. And now this is where your team starts to set up, and they will probably have the server breach open. And now let's go over his flame bolts. So Capitao has 2 types of bolts. One is smoke and one is fire. And pretty much as a Capitao player, what you want to do for a garage take is deny the person that's playing either R1, R2, R90, or R3. And be in mind, Capitao is not a solo operator, so you need to have teammates helping you. Teammates outside the garage wall and teammates on the breach. So Capitao bolts are very interesting. You could shoot them anywhere and they will always fall to the ground. So for example, if I were to shoot a flame, I can shoot as high as I want and it's going to fall onto the rafters. So if I wanted to, I could safely shoot it high while jiggling the door and not get killed. For garage, there will most definitely be a player playing R2, which is this area. He'll be either peeking the middle, the left, or the right. If he crosses to the left, which is R1, the breach player, the person sitting outside the server breach, should be able to kill him. Pretty much there's 2 different ways to flame this person. One is the door, which is, in my opinion, both ways have their own risk, but I personally like the door. But maybe flaming from the G2 breach is safer. So I'll just go over flaming from this breach. So usually you'll have your hard breacher will open this wall and you will crouch in. Make sure you shoot the default cam, by the way, from outside the breach. And you need a teammate also outside of this wall to watch lounge and what we call here the mini stairs, so you can't get peeked out and killed. And you should always have a guy at garage door as well. This guy is usually going to be the person to kill the player playing the rafters. Pretty much what you do is you walk out and you just shoot your flame straight up. And while that person is running away from the rafters, your player on the door should be able to kill them. The second way to flame is having your teammate at the door with you, usually a Zofia. You're going to jiggle the door. It's very risky because you can get peeked while flaming by the guy rafters. So as you can see, it's very risky because I could die while flaming, so you have to jiggle it fast. I just used a smoke for an example there. As you can see, very risky, but it's kind of faster than flaming from the G2 breach below. And I guess it's a little bit safer in the fact that you won't die to the guy that's mini stairs. Okay, another thing for garage is that usually you'll come across a Wamai playing the R2. With the Wamai playing R2, he's a very dangerous player because he will most likely have the 1.5 times, so he can definitely range you. And he will be holding disc to throw. And a counter to Capitao is the disc. As you can see, it's going to get caught. But something a lot of Capitao or Wamai players fail to do is not hold their disc, and they will throw their disc up here on this vent. The safest place to usually throw your disc is literally on the rafters with you. It will give you a second to peek out before the disc gets caught. So as you can see, the disc will get caught, and then you'll probably have 2 to 3 seconds where you can peek before you're flamed as a Wamai player. So when you come across these vent discs, what you can do is have your teammate or yourself crouch into the G2 breach if this is open and either throw flashes up or simply just shoot the disc. And if your teammate doesn't have flashes, it's good to burn smokes. You can burn a smoke bolt and it will catch the disc, and it will also obscure vision for the R2 player, and then you can flame them. So by this time, if you have garage control, you should have 2 smoke bolts up, and you'll either have, depending on your team, you'll either be rotating to server breach, or you might even be playing on Rafters with Capitao. Personally, I think Rafters is a little scary to play Capitao because you'll most likely get caught out with your flame arrows or your smoke bolts by somebody peeking you from the tuck door inside of cache. So it's kind of risky to smoke. The safest spot is to smoke from breach, and the spots that you can smoke is the tuck door. And what that does pretty much is it covers this whole door so they can't peek you. And what you could also do is, a lot of times what happens is you'll be in a 4v4, 5v5 type of situation, and you might not want to smoke because it might give the enemy an upper hand. Personally, I don't think it's that big of an issue. They still have to run through the smokes, but also like you should have teammates already holding gun up on top red and tuck door. But if you want to eliminate risk of them dying, they could definitely hold more passive angles, and you could just smoke the doors, and they could just hold for the door run in. And for example, if you, let's say, smoke top red, your teammate can go in from server breach and plant close on the door here. And when they plant close on the door here, the top red player might try and C4. He might walk up because he thinks like, hey look, there's a smoke right here. I could just walk up and throw C4 onto server default, and that person planning on the close door will definitely not get exploded by that. And also, if you have flames left, you could definitely flame the drone hole, or you can flame the tuck door. A good thing to do before smoking is, if you do have another flame bolt up, is, for example, flame the door and then shoot a smoke on top of the flame. So players, let's say if you're down a player and they can't watch that door, no one is gonna it's gonna be smoked off and they're gonna have to run through a flame at the same time. Okay, so now you've come across a bandit on the enemy lineup. So with that being said, and that being a bandit up, they're most likely going to be bandit tricking. So to counter that, we can go back to this angle that I talked about earlier. This opens up the window to garage. And what you can do from here pretty much is, when you have your hard breacher on the wall ready, you can flame this bandit off the wall. But also the issue with this is that your biggest counter is going to be a Wamai. If that's up on the board, it will definitely get caught by any disc up in Rafters. And now a secondary spot we can go to flame is server window. You need a teammate to either go on garage rappel or be on the ground to watch your windows. You can get jumped out from gym, master, and con. Also pool window and not really front door. Strip is a big one too. People like running out all the way to here and they could kill you. Pretty much you could just, shoot 2 holes and aim high, and you can shoot a disc above the server breach and he's not going to be able to bandit trick. Another issue with that, same issue, the Wamai disc, maybe one right here, one top left maybe, and people sometimes put it here. So you're going to need flashes to clear. At the beginning of the round, if you do this fast enough, there will only be 2 discs up on the board to clear. Thanks for watching my Capitao guide. Comment down below who you want to see next, and subscribe to the Beastcoast content channel.